Hey NAI football fans, Corey Thorpe here with another edition of the NAIFBALL podcast powered by AdCraft USA, your custom apparel, merch, and uniform experts. Our friends at AdCraft have been with us for many years now. They've run web stores for us multiple times. These guys are NAI fans and family who are experts in the apparel and merchandise world. AdCraft allows you to take the hassle out of ordering. Let their knowledgeable design and customer service staff handle everything from hosting the store online, shipping the product, and helping your customers so you can get back to the game. Find them online at adcraftusa.com. All right, guys, we are here for another week of the NAIF Ball podcast. This time, we're going to, quite literally, the heart of America.
Yeah, we're going to the Heart of America North Division. One of the prestigious conferences in the NAI, I think. In the South, you got basically the two winningest programs in the NAI, with Baker being the leader and Moval right there as well.
Yeah,
Moval was tied. Yeah, Moval was the leader, and I think Baker beat Moval the last game of the season to clinch that.
I want to say no. I want to say that was Central Methodist.
Okay, well, I know it had been close though.
Yeah, we will. It was, but yeah, they're right there neck and neck, and we expect Baker to take that for its own starting next year. You'll notice that we're a little flip flopped, aren't we, John? We got a little bit new digs.
We edited our setup.
That'll work for me. Yep, starting to get some new stuff in. The audio quality tonight might not be as good. We're getting in some new soundproofing equipment, so bear with us if the audio quality is not quite what you're used to. But to start off, we're going to go to the Graceland Bees, the home of Olympian Kendall Jenner, who played football, of course, for Graceland.
Really? Did not know that.
Yes, sir.
We need to tweet that tonight.
we should
create some controversy on Twitter. Anyways, Graceland 0 for last year, 0-11, 0-5, getting a brand new head start under head coach Patrick Ross. Corey, what I've been noticing, and it was starting, late May, early June, they had a lot of recruits from the surrounding areas flock over to the Graceland campus. I don't expect them to make major improvements in year one. What's crazy is, and you just talked about before we started, they had no all-conference players. So, they have guys returning, but we're wondering if they'll have a breakout player, at least make the all-conference team in year one of the Ross era.
You've almost got to. I mean, for Graceland, there's nowhere to go but up. They were bottom in the Heart North in offensive yards per play. Just fell shy of even 3 1/3 yards per play. They were last in defensive yards per play, giving up almost 7 1/3 yards per play, which left them at a net yards per play of -4. You can't win games like that, undergaining your opponent by 4 yards per play. But they do return a lot offensively off of a team that has a lot of room to grow.
They do return a lot, but you got to wonder, is that even going to matter under a new era? It's open competition everywhere, especially when you're a 0 for team from last season. So I'm just eager to see what new faces maybe enter their lineup, and if they can make a little noise.
Maybe you catch someone little lightning in a bottle there.
Right, I totally agree with that.
Would you say they could then create a buzz?
Absolutely, a buzz.
You're here for the dad jokes. Next up on our list is the Clark Pride, a newer team to the Heart of America Conference, but still one that, they got a win last year. They had a little bit better defense than they did offense a year ago. They were 5th in offensive yards per play with just over 4, 4th in defensive yards per play with almost 6 yards given up. They're returning a good bit here, especially on both sides of the ball. Ken Spite there, 79 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 interceptions at the defensive back spot. But you've also got Max Steffen here with 568 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns a year ago, along with your quarterback and your running back and most of your defense.
Yeah, so Clark is exactly from this recording 70 days away from kicking off the NAI season. Coming into this recording, I thought there was only 2 games, but there's actually a third.
Oh,
Clark and Evangel.
And that's on the 25th?
That's on the 25th.
Ah, baby.
So, good deal. But, looking at their 2021 results, they do return some players, but honestly, they were competitive in some games last year. Besides the 68-0 loss to Benedictine, where just everything went wrong. But some games they only lost by 1 or 2 possessions. Is that something they can grow on?
I definitely think it is. I mean, and you're talking about a team who I want to say is only in their maybe 4th year.
Right.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think it might be 3rd.
And so you're really looking at something or at a team that is still growing into the heart and growing into that level of football from not even having a football team, one full roster ago.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room to grow there, and we'll see about the Clark Pride and where we go from there. Now, the team that nobody likes to face, I don't think, and not because they're winning the division every year, but
the style of offense they play.
It's the style of offense. William Penn, with a 3-8 record a year ago, had a really nice offense, 5.7 yards per play. Defense wasn't quite as good at 6.4. Really, for William Penn, you really have to replace Ben Sherman. How do you replace the Loman Trophy finalist?
You better hope you had somebody in your system getting ready. I think that's one of the most important things for NAIA coaches is that, yes, we know the league's a revolving door, but if you're not investing in somebody behind that guy, you have the time to do it. But Ben Sherman was an absolute monster hitting those A and B gaps.
And also I think the other question is what are you going to do with Rodney Hall? Basically, your athlete from a year ago had 300. He's listed as a wide receiver.
Right.
Had 391 yards passing, which for William Penn is going to lead the squad. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. 313 rush yards, 4 touchdowns, and 129 receiving yards and a touchdown. The man was everywhere. Can you really find a spot for Rodney Hall within the William Penn offense that he can stay at, or do you want to with such an athlete like that?
It's funny with the type of offense they run. Maybe I know it's like I'm talking from the table here, so I don't know. But it sounds like maybe in that type of offense, sometimes your best athlete should be touching the ball every play. Maybe there could be a package. I
mean, maybe not even only a package, but I mean, if you want to have him as your feature quarterback, as long as he can run that triple option,
right,
and as long as he's making the right reads with the football, he's going to be the guy that you want there. And if he's got the arm, obviously he does, with the 4 touchdown passes there. That's just a good weapon to have. You also bring back Dylan Wimmer on your offensive line and Colton Horak at your defensive back position. You do return some running back, some of your linebacker, basically all of your defense there.
I know for William Penn is they want to gain the ground that Grandview has separated on them. It's been the past 2 years, that rivalry game has not been competitive. Granted, Grandview's been absolutely elite. We'll talk about them later. But I know that has to burn for the people in the administration at William Penn.
Yeah, they want to be right there. So that's sort of your bottom 3 teams in the heart. Let's take a look at them here you've got Graceland, you've got William Penn, you've got Clark. Who makes the move this year and really steps out?
I think Graceland's such a wild card with the new era coming in that you just don't know. But I just think William Penn just has it in their culture, in the school, good athletics program to make a move in football again to where they are back to being successful.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I do think that Graceland could make a move this year and with a new culture and some new fresh faces that aren't used to that losing mentality. You could really see them make a leap. You just got to make sure if you're Graceland, you're getting your administrative support and that you're doing everything you can with the resources that you've got to get up and bite somebody.
Absolutely agree.
And now you get to the top half, and that starts with the Peru State Bobcats, who went 7-4 a year ago, 3-2 in conference play. They were not great offensively. Fourth in the conference in yards per play at just over 4, but defensively, they were, catch this, the best defense in the Heart North. Not Grandview, Peru State.
You know, it's if you guys didn't know, Peru State is actually the most, I believe, the most affordable NAIA program to attend tuition-wise.
I think you're right.
I think they're only at like $10,000 a year tuition-wise.
It's not bad at all.
It's absolutely. So if you're a recruit listening to this, I would consider it. Plus, they play in the Oak Bowl.
And that's a pretty place.
Yeah, it's a very pretty place.
That's a really nice place.
But going back to the actual football itself, I think the thing is they lose a couple guys on the O-line.
Yeah,
that are important,
and that's gonna kill them, especially when you're talking about a team that likes to run the ball with Quentin Hawkins, and you lose Mario Locke and Jackson Gilbert. Boy, that's a big loss for you there.
But I will say, we talked about them struggling on offense, but they just hired a new offensive coordinator, H.T. Kinney, who was an analyst at Nicholls State there in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So let's see what he brings to the table. Maybe when we ask this question again, which of the top half do we see that has more room to grow? Maybe it could be Peru State.
Definitely could be Peru State. And they do bring back a lot of defense, whether it be Nick Andrews at defensive tackle, Gerald Smith at defensive line, Armand Matthews in your secondary, along with Delonte Hood. And you don't lose a lot. I do want to point out Gerald Adams, or sorry, not Gerald Adams, Devin Adams on your defensive line. Punter and defensive lineman in all conference at both.
That's insane.
That is absurd. Devin Adams is kicking this thing 41.5 yards on average, which has got to be probably about second in the NAI. I know who's first, and it's Concordia's punter, who's also a linebacker.
He was insane, yeah.
John, you tell me the value of having a punter out there who you trust to make the tackle.
Not only that, but being athletic enough to maybe fake it.
Yeah. I mean,
run down the sideline.
That is true. Long as 65 there, that's a big deal. Now you do talk about kickers. Peru State loses their, and he'll roast me if I get this wrong. Their Irish kicker Shane McInerney, coming from Kaiser for the last year here to Peru State, got a heck of a leg on him. Hope he gets picked up somewhere.
Absolutely,
he's a heck of a dude and a great guy to see on the timeline there. You do lose your quarterback if you're Peru State, and that's really going to be your sticking point here. And then you go from a really good defense
to a really good offense.
The best offense in the Heart North was Culver Stockton at 8-3, 4-1 in conference.
Well, first let's congratulate our guy Andrew Ruppich. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Andrew Rupchich, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations for him. He got signed by the Titans as a free agent, about a month ago. Hopefully that's going well. I don't know how well it's going. Also, we're going to get the Central Methodist here in a little bit, and
No, we're not. They're on the other side.
Other side. Oh man, well save that for next week for Will Miles. So.
Absolutely. But if you're Culver Stockton, you do lose Andrew Rupchich, and I mean, good grief, the man was like 6'6", 300 pounds. He was, in NAIA terms, that's a big dude.
Absolutely.
I mean, you do bring back Andrew Rowe on your offensive line, but man, you lose your big, and Alex Gonzalez. You lose two big offensive linemen for a team that was really, really good offensively a year ago, and you wonder how much that's going to hurt them in the running game.
Well, what's crazy is people are forgetting that Culver Stockton was only 6 points away from the national runner-up last year.
Yeah.
They lost 3-9 to Grandview, and I think that's a testament how great Grandview's defense is.
Are you sure that was 9-3? I thought that was 9-6, actually.
Was it 9-6?
So, now...
It was 9-6, correct.
Granted.
9-6, close
Grandview was actually had just an absolute crap ton of injuries and COVID in that game. So I will give them that. You do return a lot, offensively and defensively. And I'm not saying Culver's defense was bad. They were third in the Hart North in defensive yards per play.
Right.
And so they are the first team that in this scenario, the second team, Purdue State was positive. So they're the second team to be positive in that net yards per play. You bring back a couple of all-conference wide receivers, a tight end, and your starting quarterback, along with a ton of pieces in your defensive secondary.
Well, we're going to know how good Culver Stockton is right away because they open up with Baker at Baldwin City.
That's Kansas. A good one.
So that's tough. Not only it's crazy. Does everybody in the Hart, North and South play each other? They do, don't they?
I don't know if they all. I don't know if they all play each other, but they do a ton of interdivisional.
Interdivisional because everybody I think has Baker and Benedictine from the other side. I feel like so. I think they play all each other.
Yeah.
So that's one thing we got to fact check there.
So now you've gone through most of the list, and really the question here is anyone going to approach Grandview?
I'm going to say no.
14-1 a year
because they are returning the most important piece to a football team in college football. If you return a quarterback when you're playing high level, and Johnny Sullivan has struggled throughout sometimes in his career, don't get me wrong, his past year was absolutely amazing, and what he did in that national championship game was good enough for them to win it.
Absolutely.
That really surprised me, what he did in the national championship game. It's been really awesome watching his career and watching him get better. And I think he's going to have an elite season to have a chance to get Grandview back there. But not only do you return the most important position, your defense, and we talk about culture a lot, that defense is not going to be any worse than they were last year.
Not at all.
Which was elite defense. They're going to be just as good, if not better.
Yeah, you bring back Kyeem Mosley and Gianni Angelo there on your defense. When we talked to the folks over at Grandview, they called Johnny Sullivan their most important recruit.
That's awesome.
Of the class, and that's the truth. If you get Johnny Sullivan back, you can build your team around that.
Corey, I'll say this: all the divisions in NAIA football, you can go to the mid-states, Midwest, and that division is an absolute war. You could go to the Sun Division or the Sun Conference. It's going to be a war between Kaiser, Southeastern, and those guys. You can go to the GPAC, Northwestern and Morningside. Even though Morningside's dominated the past 10 out of so many against Northwestern, there's still a shadow of you think they'll be beaten. There's only two divisions that I know for certain that we know the champions. That's one, Reinhardt. Number two is Grandview.
I would throw the Frontier or the North Star in there with Dickinson State
that's
is
fine.
is a pretty fair
That's
shoe
fine.
in on that. But no, you're very right.
I think this is lock and key right here.
And thanks to the folks at Grandview, they do outfit us pretty well. It really does help that the father, the starting quarterback, also helps run a printing press.
Yeah, yeah. And what's funny is like I would be totally honest, even if they didn't help us out. Like I'm going to call a spade a spade. You know what I'm saying? If I thought one of these teams could just get up and beat Grandview, but I just don't think they will. I think Grandview's this might be the year where we get a repeat of national championship participants again. Kind of like the only thing I can think to compare to it would be Morningside and St. Francis meeting in the semifinals consecutive seasons.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone who's done it in recent history.
Honestly, I hope the NAIA doesn't screw with us and pair them before the championship.
Well, I mean, if Northwestern makes it all the way again, that makes a natural pairing for Morningside.
I agree, yeah, and that's one sucky thing for Northwestern.
Yeah, it is.
They don't get the benefit of the doubt like the others. But I see these two making it again. I see Grandview making it to Durham again.
Yeah, and they definitely have the team for it, and they're going to have the hunger for it after coming up just shy.
Not only just shy, Corey, but knowing that you should have won it.
I mean,
you could have you were up on them, your foot on their throat, and you didn't rip out the jugular.
Yeah, you had the lead into the fourth quarter.
That's what I'm saying. You could have put that away. You know what I'm saying? I know that has to irk those guys over there.
Yeah, Joe Woodley over there. I'm sure that still kind of keeps him up at night a little bit.
Which amazing 2 seasons for him to start off with.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. But I think this might be the year of the Vikings where they come back and win another national championship.
They very well could. Now, you do lose a lot, including Anthony Turner, who I want to say might have signed somewhere. You lose Bennett Spry as well, a couple of offensive linemen. You lose Nate Whelan and Drew Buffelli, Cole Rollinger in your defensive secondary, and David Tolentino. So there are and Cam Maxfield.
Drew Buffelli's really going to hurt because he was everywhere. Yeah. Now, but I will say, when you're like a program like where Grandview's entered, where you're like a Morningside or like a Reinhardt within their Appalachian, conference, it's like you're just reloading at this point. But the important thing is you're returning the most important position.
Yeah.
There's a reason why quarterbacks always go either number 1 in the NFL draft or, near the top, and several get taken.
And even if it's not the best quarterback class, you're still getting
you're talking
somebody
as a lineman. I understand that left tackles are going to get number 1, defense ends number 1, but you can ask any coach, you'll only go as far as your quarterback takes you.
Yeah. And that is, when we talked with Morningside a few weeks ago, and chatted with them, he said he basically said the same thing. With you look at the final 4 quarterbacks in the NAI last year, you had Cam Dukes, you had Tyson Koima, you had Joe Dolanchek, and you had Johnny Sullivan. The 4 probably best quarterbacks in the league all year made it to that final 4. Mm-hmm. And so it is huge. And I think we have the same mind here, is that Grandview is going to be your champion.
Right.
The question's going to be, can Culver make it difficult? They had a window a couple of years ago.
Right. Well, that, and you came close last year, and like you said, a lot of guys out for Grandview. I mean, that has to give them a little confidence, knowing that, hey, we can compete with these guys. And Culver's made it a long way the past few seasons.
They really have. Coach Sally over there has done a great job. That dark horse, I think we're going to agree on it, is that Peru State, if they can make that step offensively, I think they're both of our dark horse there. They return a lot of defensive pieces to a defense that was really, really good a year ago.
Right. And, who knows if their defense could keep somebody like Grandview at bay to give their offense a chance.
Look, if you're able to give yourselves a chance, if you're able to keep Johnny Sullivan from picking you apart,
right,
then you've got a chance if you can shut down the run against Grandview. We've seen that. So, dark horse, we are in agreement. We're at Peru State there, Grandview for our winner. And so we thank the folks at Grandview. You can see the stadium behind us. They got us go the correct direction there. The beautiful stadium pick. So thanks to those guys and for outfitting us well there. We've gotten a ton of good stuff there.
Yeah, thank you guys. We're 70 days away. I'm excited.
I think we'll make it.
We'll make it.
And we will be back next week with the other side of the heart,
the South, which is an absolute war.
Oh, that's gonna be fun picking a winner.
3 teams there that are maybe 4.
We'll see. They might beat each other up.
Yeah, I know Central Methodist fans are pretty excited to maybe claim another spot at that.
We'll see here. David Calloway's got a bit of a reload job on him to do. So for John Cooper, I am Cory Thorpe, and we will see y'all next week. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the NAIAFBALL podcast presented by AdCraft USA. Be sure to contact them for all your custom apparel, merch, and uniform needs. Thanks also to Mommy Bay Turf and Turf Nation, as well as Leading Edge Fundraising for their support of the podcast. If you enjoy the show, subscribe to the podcast as well as to our YouTube channel. Leave us a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. As always, if you'd like to support what we do, head over to patreon.com/NAIAFBALL and become a patron. We can't do what we do without our sponsors and listeners like you.